Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of English with Leo and Stella. I'm Leo, your host, and I'm so happy you're here with us today.
And I'm Stella, your co host and your English learning friend. We're so excited to talk with you today. We have a fun and interesting topic for you. It's something many people are curious about. And maybe you've asked yourself this question before, too.
Yes, today's topic is Learn English while sleeping. That's right, while you're sleeping. But wait, is that really possible? Can you actually learn a language while your eyes are closed and your brain is resting?
Good question. Many people think sleep is just for rest. But did you know your brain is still active when you sleep? It's true. And today, we're going to talk all about that.
In this episode, we'll talk about what it really means to learn while you sleep. We'll explain how it works in a very simple way. We'll also share some easy tips you can use to try this method at home.
That's right. We want to help you improve your English, not only when you're studying, but also when you're relaxing or even sleeping. This podcast is for all English learners, beginners, intermediate, and advanced. So don't worry. We will speak slowly and clearly.
Yes, and we will use simple words so that everyone can understand. Even if you are just starting your English journey, you can follow along with us.
So maybe you are in your bed right now, getting ready to sleep, or maybe you're walking or studying, or just relaxing. No matter where you are, this episode is for you.
Exactly. So, stay with us as we explore this fun topic. Can you learn English while you sleep? And how to do it the right way.
Let's get started.
All right, friends. Let's talk about something really interesting now. What does it actually mean to learn English while sleeping? Sounds like magic, right? Like something from a science fiction movie. You go to bed, you close your eyes, and while you're dreaming, poof, you wake up speaking perfect English. But is it real?
Well, not exactly like magic. It's not like you'll go to bed tonight and wake up tomorrow morning speaking like a native speaker. But, and this is important, your brain doesn't fully shut down when you sleep. Even when you're not awake, your brain is still doing some work. That's the key idea behind learning during sleep.
Yes, that's right. Think about your phone or your computer. Sometimes it updates at night while it's charging, right? You're not using it, but it's still doing something in the background. Your brain is a little like that. When you sleep, your brain is still active. It's organizing, it's saving memories, and it's helping you process things you learned during the day.
Exactly. This is why getting good sleep is so important when you're learning something new, like English. Your brain takes the information from the day and stores it. And guess what? Some scientists and language experts believe that if you listen to English while you sleep, like simple phrases, vocabulary, or even short stories, your brain can still hear the sounds. It may not fully understand or remember everything, but it can become more familiar with the words, the rhythm, and the pronunciation.
That's really amazing when you think about it. So we're not saying you'll learn everything while sleeping. No, no. You still need to practice when you're awake. Speaking, reading, writing, listening. But when you add English audio during sleep, it's like giving your brain a little extra help. It's like letting the language gently play in the background so your brain gets used to it.
Yes, and this kind of learning is called passive learning. That means you're not working hard or focusing. You're just listening. And when you listen often, your brain starts to recognize patterns and sounds. It's a slow process, but it can really help your listening skills. For example, if you hear the same phrases again and again while sleeping, like "How are you?" or "What time is it?" your brain might start to remember them naturally.
There are even some small studies that show this idea works. One study had people listen to vocabulary words while they were sleeping. When they woke up, they remembered the words better than the people who didn't listen at all. Of course, this doesn't mean you'll remember everything perfectly, but it shows that your brain can still hear while you sleep.
So, yes, your brain can learn while you sleep, but in a gentle background way. You won't memorize an entire textbook, but you can become more comfortable with the sound and rhythm of English. And the best part? You don't have to do anything. You just play the audio, relax, and sleep. It's like learning without stress.
And don't worry, even if you fall asleep fast, that's okay. Your ears still hear. It's like when you fall asleep with the TV on or music playing. Your brain still hears the noise. With English audio, your brain is hearing helpful, useful language instead of random sounds.
That's why many learners enjoy this method. It's easy, peaceful, and it can be part of your daily routine. You can learn while you rest. And that's pretty cool, don't you think?
Very cool. So now that we understand what sleep learning is and how it works, let's move on and talk about whether it really works for everyone and what you should expect from it.
Yes. Let's go deeper and see what science and real-life experience tells us about learning English during sleep.
All right, now that we know what sleep learning is and how it works in general, it's time to ask the big question. Does it really work? Can you really improve your English just by listening to it while you sleep?
That's a good question, Leo. And the answer is, well, kind of yes and kind of no. Let's explain that more clearly. Sleep learning can work, but not in a magical way. You're not going to suddenly speak perfect English just because you listen to a podcast while sleeping, but you can help your brain get more used to English. And that's a big part of learning any language.
Exactly. Think of it this way. Your brain is like a sponge. During the day, when you're fully awake, your sponge is open and ready to absorb everything. Grammar, new words, sentence structures. At night, when you sleep, your sponge is not working in the same way, but it's still soaking up some water, slowly and gently. So if you give your brain calm, simple English to listen to while sleeping, it might absorb small parts of it, mostly sounds, tones, and some words or phrases.
Yes. And there are actually some small studies that support this idea. One study had people listen to vocabulary words from a new language while they slept, and those who listened during deep sleep remembered more words the next day than people who didn't listen at all. So, that shows us something important. The brain can hear and store sounds even during sleep. But there's a limit. You're not actively learning like when you're awake, so the amount of information your brain can hold is small.
That's true. So, let's be honest with our listeners. Sleep learning is not a replacement for active study. You still need to practice when you're awake, speaking with others, reading books, doing exercises, watching videos, and asking questions. That's where the real learning happens. But sleep learning can support that. It's like a quiet helper in the background. It helps your brain hear more English, get used to the rhythm of the language, and remember simple things more easily.
So, what kind of things can your brain remember during sleep? Mostly things that are short, simple, and repeated. For example, common phrases like, "How are you?" or "What's your name?" or simple vocabulary words like apple, school, friend, happy, and hungry. These kinds of words are easier for your sleeping brain to recognize and keep.
But it's not good for learning things that are too hard or complex, like grammar rules or long sentences. Your brain is too relaxed during sleep to understand deep lessons. So if you try to learn something very advanced, like conditionals or phrasal verbs, while you sleep, it probably won't help much. In fact, it could confuse you if you try to learn too much at once.
Right. So the best way to use sleep learning is to combine it with what you're already learning. For example, if you studied 10 new words today, you can listen to those same words while you sleep tonight. That way, your brain hears them again and again, and that helps with memory. Repetition is very powerful when you're learning a language.
Also, the sound of English playing while you sleep can help you get more comfortable with the way English feels. You might not even notice it, but when you listen again and again, even during sleep, your ears become better at catching the rhythm and melody of English sentences. And that can help your pronunciation too, little by little.
So, to answer the question again, does it really work? Yes, it can help, but only as a support tool. It's not the main way to learn. It works best when it's part of a bigger English routine. Use it to review simple words, repeat common phrases, and relax your brain with the sound of English.
That's a great way to say it. It's like feeding your brain soft English snacks while it rests. Not a full meal, but enough to keep your memory fresh and strong.
I love that. English snacks for your brain while you sleep. So now, let's move on to something very practical. Let's talk about how you can start learning English while sleeping, step by step.
Yes, we'll give you real tips you can use tonight. So don't go anywhere. All right, friends. Now that we know learning English while sleeping can help, you might be wondering, how do I actually do it? What are the steps? What kind of audio should I listen to? How long? And when is the best time to start? Today, Stella and I will answer all these questions. Let's make it simple and easy for you.
Yes! First things first. The main idea is to listen to English audio while you sleep. That means you play something in English quietly in the background when you go to bed. The sound will help your brain hear English during the night. But don't worry, it should not be too loud or distracting. It's best if it's calm and soft so you can sleep well.
Right. You don't want to blast your headphones like a concert. That's too much and could keep you awake. Instead, use low volume so the sound is gentle. The goal is to let your brain hear English words and phrases naturally, not to make you focus on the audio. If you're too focused, your brain is awake, and that's not the point here.
Now, what kind of English audio should you listen to? This is very important. You want to choose simple and clear English. Things like short conversations, daily phrases, or easy vocabulary lists. Audio that is slow and clear is best. For example, bedtime stories for learners, simple podcasts, or audio lessons made for beginners.
Yes, avoid complicated or long lectures. You want audio that repeats the same words or phrases often. That way, your brain has more chances to hear and remember. For example, a podcast episode that repeats greetings like, "Good morning," "How are you?" or phrases like, "I like coffee," "I am happy." Repetition is key.
And don't worry if you don't understand everything. Your brain is listening to sounds and rhythms, not full meaning. It's like learning music. You hear the tune and get used to it. The meaning will come later when you study more during the day.
Now, how long should you listen? We suggest you play the audio for about 1 to 2 hours during the night. That's enough time for your brain to hear English sounds without making your sleep uncomfortable. You can also start with shorter time, like 30 minutes, and then slowly increase.
And when is the best time to start? Of course, it's right before you go to sleep. When you lie down, close your eyes, and get ready to rest. That's the perfect moment to start your English sleep learning. If you use headphones, be sure they are comfortable and safe to wear while sleeping.
If you don't want to wear headphones, you can also play audio softly from a speaker near your bed. Just make sure the volume is low enough so it won't disturb your sleep. The idea is to make the English sounds a natural part of your sleep environment.
Now, let's talk about tools and apps. There are many options you can use to find English audio for sleep learning. Some popular apps have audio stories, vocabulary lists, or bedtime lessons for English learners. For example, apps like Spotify, Audible, YouTube, or language learning apps like Duolingo and LingQ sometimes have audio lessons perfect for sleep learning.
Yes, and some apps even have special sleep mode or night mode features that play audio gently and stop after a set time. This can help you avoid playing audio all night if you don't want that. Just look for apps with sleep timers.
Also, you can make your own playlist with your favorite simple English audios. That way, you control what you listen to and keep it easy and fun. Remember, the audio should not be too exciting or loud. Keep it calm and relaxing.
Finally, be patient. Learning English while sleeping is a slow process. It won't happen overnight, but if you do it regularly, every night or most nights, your brain will start to notice the sounds and words more. It's like a quiet helper for your English learning journey.
Exactly. And it's a great way to make use of your time. Even when you rest, your brain is still learning. So, try this method for a week or two and see how it feels. You might notice that English sounds more natural to you during the day, and your listening skills can improve.
That's all for this part. In the next section, we will talk about what kinds of English you can really learn while sleeping. Vocabulary, phrases, pronunciation, and more. Stay with us. Now that we know how to listen to English while sleeping, it's time to ask, what kind of English can you actually learn during sleep? Can you learn new words? Improve your pronunciation? Understand more when people talk? Or even get better at speaking? Let's talk about all of that.
Great question, Leo. So, first, let's start with vocabulary and phrases. These are the easiest things your brain can pick up while you're sleeping. When you listen to simple words or short phrases repeated quietly during the night, your brain can remember them better. Words like hello, thank you, good morning, or I am happy are perfect for sleep learning.
Yes, these are short and common phrases you use every day. When your brain hears them again and again during sleep, it starts to remember the sounds and the order of the words. This helps your memory because repetition is very powerful. And remember, even if you don't remember everything right away, over time, your brain builds connections between words.
Next is pronunciation. Can you improve your pronunciation by listening to English while sleeping? The answer is yes, but only to a small degree. Your brain is very good at hearing sounds during sleep. So, if you listen to clear and correct English pronunciation, your brain can start to recognize the sounds of English. That means your ears get trained to hear the differences between sounds like ship and sheep, or bat and bet.
That's very important because good pronunciation starts with listening carefully. When your ears learn the right sounds, your mouth can try to copy them when you practice speaking during the day. But remember, sleep learning alone won't make your speaking perfect. You still need to practice speaking out loud while awake to train your mouth muscles.
Right. So, listening during sleep is like giving your ears a little extra training. It makes it easier to hear and copy the sounds when you're awake. That's a great benefit.
Now, let's talk about listening comprehension. Understanding English when you hear it. Can sleep learning help with this? Yes, it can. When your brain gets used to hearing English sounds and phrases, even if it's quietly in the background, It becomes easier to understand English when you listen during the day.
Think of it like this. The more your brain hears English, the more it can predict what comes next in a sentence. This helps your understanding get faster. So even if you don't understand every word at first, after regular listening, including sleep listening, your brain becomes better at guessing the meaning from the sounds and rhythm.
That's a really good point. Listening comprehension is very important for learning a language, and sleep learning gives your brain extra practice. But remember, to get better at understanding English fully, you also need to listen actively during the day, watch videos, and talk with people.
Now, the big question, can learning English while sleeping help you with speaking? Well, it helps indirectly. While sleep learning does not teach you to speak perfectly on its own, it supports speaking by improving your listening and pronunciation, as we said before.
Yes, when your brain is familiar with the sounds and phrases from sleep listening, you feel more confident when you speak. Your mouth will be more ready to say the words you heard many times, but you still have to practice speaking actively, repeating words, making sentences, and talking with others.
So, in summary, learning English while sleeping is very useful for building your vocabulary, learning common phrases, training your ears for better pronunciation, and improving your listening skills. It helps you get used to English sounds and rhythm, but it doesn't replace active speaking practice.
Exactly. Think of sleep learning like watering a plant. It gives your brain the small daily help it needs to grow stronger. But you still have to do the work during the day, like reading, speaking, and writing, to really improve.
That's a perfect way to think about it, Leo. So, if you combine sleep learning with active practice, you'll see your English get better and better.
All right, friends. In our next section, we will share some useful tips on how to get the best results with sleep learning. We'll talk about how to prepare yourself, make it a routine, and keep your mind relaxed.
So stay tuned and don't miss it. We're here to help you every step of the way.
We've talked about what sleep learning is, how it works, and what you can learn. Now it's time for some real-life tips from Stella and me on how to get the best results with learning English while you sleep. Ready, Stella?
Ready, Leo. The first tip I want to share is all about preparing your mind and your room before you start. You want to create a calm, peaceful space where you can relax and focus on resting. This means turning off bright lights, putting away your phone or computer, and making sure your room feels cozy.
Yes, this is important. When your brain feels relaxed and safe, it can do a better job at listening to the English audio quietly in the background. So, avoid noisy places, loud music, or anything that might distract you or stop you from sleeping well.
Also, try to clear your mind before going to bed. Sometimes we have a lot of thoughts in our head, worries, to-do lists, or stress. These things can make it harder for your brain to focus on learning during sleep. So, take a few minutes to breathe deeply, think positive thoughts, or do some light stretching.
Right? Think of your mind like a clean desk. If the desk is messy with papers everywhere, it's hard to find what you need. But if it's neat and organized, everything is easier. Clearing your mind before sleep is like cleaning your desk for your brain.
The second tip is to make a routine. Try to listen to English audio every night at about the same time. Your brain loves routines. It learns better when it knows what to expect. So, going to bed and playing your English audio around the same time every night helps your brain prepare to learn.
Yes, consistency is key. Even if you only listen for 30 minutes some nights, doing it regularly is better than listening a lot, only once in a while. Over time, your brain will get used to this new habit and will start to work better at sleep learning.
The third tip is to keep it relaxed and simple. Don't put pressure on yourself to learn everything fast or perfectly. Sleep learning is slow and gentle, so choose audio that you find calming, like soft voices, slow speaking, and easy words. This will help you stay relaxed and enjoy your sleep.
Also, don't worry if you don't remember everything right away. Your brain is working quietly, and the effects will come gradually. Be patient and kind to yourself.
Another important tip is to avoid caffeine or heavy meals before bedtime. These things can make it harder to fall asleep or make your sleep lighter, which isn't good for learning. Drinking warm water or herbal tea can help you relax instead.
Good point. And don't forget to turn off your devices after you start your audio. Blue light from screens can disturb your sleep. If you're using headphones, make sure they're comfortable and safe to wear while sleeping.
Finally, make sure to combine sleep learning with active practice during the day. Sleep learning is a helpful bonus, but real progress comes when you speak, read, write, and listen actively while awake.
Exactly. Think of sleep learning as a quiet helper that supports your daily English work. When you use both together, your English will improve faster.
So, to summarize our tips, prepare a calm sleep space, clear your mind, create a consistent routine, keep your audio relaxed, avoid things that disturb sleep, and practice English actively during the day.
That's it from us today. Try these tips and see how your sleep learning journey feels. We hope this makes learning English while sleeping easier and more fun for you. Now, it's time for the most fun part, our practice time. This is a short, calming English practice session you can use anytime, especially before sleep. Stella and I will say some simple, useful English phrases and words slowly and clearly. You can listen and repeat quietly, or just relax and let your brain hear them.
Yes, this is like a mini bedtime story or a gentle language lesson. We will say common greetings, daily words, and easy phrases that you can use every day. The goal is to make you feel calm and comfortable with English sounds, so your brain can learn during rest.
Perfect! Let's start with some simple greetings. Repeat after us, or just listen carefully.
Hello! Good morning! Good evening! How are you? I am fine, thank you. And you? Good night.
Great! Now, let's say some daily words. These are words you hear and use a lot.
Water, food, friend, happy, book, school, family, sleep.
Excellent! Now, we'll say some short, useful phrases. Listen and repeat softly if you want.
Please help me. Thank you very much. I like coffee. What is your name? Where are you from? I am learning English. Can you speak slowly? I don't understand.
Wonderful! Now let's slow down a little and repeat some of these phrases gently to help your brain get used to the sounds. I'll say the phrase first, and Stella will repeat it softly. Good night, Stella. Good night. How are you, Stella? How are you? I am learning English. Stella. I am learning English. Thank you very much. Stella. Thank you very much. Can you speak slowly? Stella. Can you speak slowly? Great job. Now, let's say a few simple sentences about the day, slowly and calmly.
I wake up in the morning. I eat breakfast. I go to school or work. I listen to English. I practice speaking. I relax and sleep.
Wonderful. Let's finish with a calm phrase to help you feel ready for sleep and learning.
I am calm. I am relaxed. I am ready to learn. I will remember new words. I will improve every day. Good night, English. Good night, world.
Thank you for practicing with us. You can listen to this kind of audio softly while you sleep, or use it before bedtime to prepare your mind. Remember, the key is slow, calm, and simple English.
Yes, and don't forget to smile. Learning English is a wonderful journey, and every little step counts. Sleep well, dream in English, and we are wishing you all the best.
Here we are at the end of today's episode. We have learned a lot about the idea of learning English while sleeping. It's a fascinating topic, isn't it, Stella?
It really is, Leo. We started by understanding what sleep learning means, and then we talked about whether it really works or not. We learned that our brains can remember some simple words and phrases during sleep, and that listening to English audio quietly can help with vocabulary, pronunciation, and even listening skills.
Exactly. We also shared some practical tips on how to prepare your room and mind before bedtime, how to make a simple routine, and how to keep your sleep learning calm and relaxed. Plus, we practiced some easy English phrases together to help you get started.
Yes. So, what's the big takeaway for our listeners? Learning English while sleeping can be a helpful extra tool in your language learning journey. It's not magic. You won't become fluent overnight just by listening during sleep, but it can support your daily practice and make learning more natural and fun.
That's right, Stella. It works best when you use it as part of a full study plan, one that includes speaking, reading, writing, and active listening during the day. Sleep learning is like a gentle helper that works quietly in the background.
We encourage all our listeners to give this a try for at least 1 week. Find some simple English audio you like, play it quietly before you sleep, and see how you feel. Do you notice English sounds becoming easier? Are some words or phrases sticking in your mind?
And don't forget to keep a little notebook or phone note to write down any new words or phrases you hear or remember. This way, you can practice them actively during the day and watch your English improve step by step.
We would love to hear from you. If you try sleep learning, send us your experience. What worked for you? What didn't? Sharing your story can help other learners too.
Absolutely. You can reach out on our social media or send us an email. We want to build a community of learners who support each other, share tips, and grow together.
Before we say goodbye, remember that learning a language is a journey. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes slow, but every little effort counts. Learning while sleeping is one more way to make your English better, even when you rest.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. We hope you found this episode useful and inspiring. If you liked it, please follow or subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss our next episodes full of tips, stories, and practice.
Yes, and share this episode with friends or family who are also learning English. Together, learning can be more fun and easier.
All right, everyone, take care, sleep well, and keep learning. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye, friends. Sweet dreams and happy English learning.